what made me say yes to teaching English in China? I want to talk about this for a good little minute on my channel. I feel as though I'm starting this whole little new journey with really just getting into my story, getting into my background, so I can set the tone for everything that's coming moving forward. As most of you know or don't know, for almost the last month, I have been in Bali, Indonesia, and prior to that, I spent a month in Vietnam, and then prior to that, I was living in Thailand for the last year. I really want to get into my story about living abroad and moving abroad, and that really starts here because I feel as though I'm really kind of settled and I'm in my element mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and I can finally start getting these stories out. So if you're new here or if you're returning, welcome to Exploring Essence. I am Essence, and this part of my video is really getting into my story, my background when it comes to travel, when it comes to living outside of the U.S., when it comes to me moving from Atlanta, Georgia to Asia. Because for the most part, that is the majority where I have lived long term, and the only other places I've traveled to outside of the U.S., and those were just like vacations, were Mexico, Colombia, as far as like in North America. I moved to Shanghai, China a few months after graduating from Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. And for me, I feel as though that decision changed everything in my life, everything that I wanted to do, everything I thought I was going to be doing with my life. I never really actually had like a full plan on when I grow up, this is what I want to be, this is what I'm going to be doing, and like I planned in my life all the way out. That was like never what I was doing from my childhood. I just always went with the flow of how essence feels and what feels good to me. So okay, back in 2018, I graduated from Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia with my Bachelor of Arts degree. And a few months later, I packed up all my bags and I moved to Shanghai, China to teach English as a second language. And prior to graduating, like prior to that last year of me being in college, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do once I left school. I knew that as it was getting closer to that time, there was absolutely nothing that I wanted to do with my sociology degree. In that capacity, of course, my professors was like, go to graduate school, get your master's in anthropology. Like they thought that I should keep this whole trajectory of sociology and anthropology going because those were the courses that was my main focus of study while I was in school. But I knew that was absolutely nothing I wanted to do. When I made the decision that I was going to move to Shanghai, China, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to start my vlogging. I'm going to be travel vlogging. I'm going to be going to all these different places. Like that was like my initial mindset. Like think about it. I'm just graduating college. I'm like, that's the vibe. All I had been doing was watching like vlogs from other black women and other people who were living in Asia, and I was reaching out to people before I even got to China who were working for the company that I was working for, or other black women living in China, you know, just trying to get their opinion about their experiences and what their life was like and just things like that, you know, just in preparation and just like for my own mental, to put me at ease, I guess. And you know, I've always been I feel as though for the most part I've always been very outgoing. I have no problem meeting new people, talking to new people. So I'm like, I wanted to do a little bit of networking before I got there. So I remember like my last job, I worked in college, like when I was in my last year of school, I was working on my thesis, and my thesis, I feel as though it was so important to me. Like I was vegan at that time. I had focused the majority of my project on Tacili's raw reality in the West End of Atlanta and how veganism is activism in the black community. So it was like a full-scale project where I actually had to do oral histories and like interviews with like business owners and other vegans like on and off campus. It was like a real thorough research project, and it was something that I really loved. And I feel as though now that I think about it, my love for documentation and filming actually came during that time. That's like when I was really starting out on this journey of like picking up a camera and getting on camera and doing interviews with people. And I plan to, that's such a big goal I have. We're going to get back into that, to continue to interview people and do documentaries and filmmaking. That's a big part of my big goal. If you are in the season of your life where you are pivoting, where you are learning a new skill, or you are going on your journey of becoming a digital nomad, or doing something different where you completely change your life, make sure that you stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, Exploring Essence. You are welcome here. Let's support each other on this journey. Now, let's get back into the video. The next few years, and even like with this whole journey of living and working in Asia and working remotely and building up my freedom lifestyle. But let's rewind. So when I was making the decision, back when I was in college, I was bartending to make money. So that is the flow of life that I was on. But in my own creative time, like I've always had like an entrepreneurial spirit. I've always been like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever is in the flow of essence. Like At that time, like, I used to make shea butter back in college that I would give to my friends and stuff like that, and I would make, like, to sell to people. What else did I do? I think at some point in time, like, because I was vegan, I was making juices and things like that, trying to sell them to people. It was like so much where I'm just like the entrepreneurial part of me and me just figuring out different ways, like just basically for me to hustle and make money and do things that I feel as though brought me joy and allowed me to show my creativity. I've always, like back in high school, now we're doing a little bit more rewind, I taught myself graphic design. I taught myself a little bit of HTML and CSS and web design, or the beginning fundamentals of what that was. So I was working on building my own blogs and things like that. And that was another part of me being able to express myself. I didn't know till later, like basically when I got to China, I started actually doing my own blogs and things like that, and exploring more and learning more about videography and photography, because I was really throwing myself into it because I knew that's what I wanted to do. After about my first year there, going into my second year, I'm getting more into it, but I feel as though there's still so much for me to learn, and I get it now. I was just going with the flow of how I felt when it came to vlogging. It was just so natural for me at that time. Me and my roommate at the time, Angelique, we would go out around Shanghai and just vlog together, and it was just such a freeing, fun experience. Like, there was no, for the most part, no planning. We were just in real life moments, experiencing and documenting. And that is really what I loved in the beginning of this whole journey, and that spirit that I had. And I don't even know how to, it's nothing that I could recapture or recreate. That was just the moment in life and who I was. And it's been so many times where I'm just like, especially as the years have gone by, where I'm just like wanting to get that spark back. I don't even know what else to call it, but that joy that I had for just creating and just it flowing naturally. I digress. And honestly and truly, like, for the most part, I was not trying to get a traditional job once I graduated with my Bachelor of Arts degree. I wasn't trying to go any type of traditional route. Ultimately, I chose to move abroad. I chose to live in Asia because I wanted to use that time to explore myself, explore my wants, my needs, my desires, and actually truly see, what I could become. I wanted to not feel dependent on my family. I really know that at that time I really needed to grow. I needed to be independent. I needed to learn and work on myself. I needed to, for the most part, learn how to manage my own money, and discipline myself and budget. And there are so many different ways that I grew during that experience and during that time of me living in Asia on my own, especially when I moved to Shanghai. That was like the furthest I had ever been away from my family. Well, prior to that, because I did study abroad in Heilongjiang, Harbin, China, back when I was in college, but that was just like maybe like a 2-month stint, like a summer study abroad program. So that was the first initial time that I went to China. So after graduating, me knowing that I wanted to go in a different capacity, especially like as an adult, living and working in this new city, far away from my family, I knew it was going to be, I feel like for the most part, it feels like it was a bigger adjustment for my family initially, because they just want to make sure that, that I was safe and that everything was in flow. And that was another reason why I decided to document and start vlogging, because I wanted to show them this experience of me living in China. None of my family, for the most part, of anybody that I knew, had ever been to China. So that was like one of the biggest things I'm just like, I could really do. It's just like, let's go big or go home. Like, stop playing. Basically, okay, what made me say yes to teaching English as a second language in China, like after graduating, is because while I was in college, before I started bartending, I was an AmeriCorps member. And through AmeriCorps, I was working with this company, nonprofit called Wings for Kids of Atlanta. And basically, I was doing after school. It was an after school program, and so I was working with children and teaching them SEL, social and emotional learning skills, and just basically working with students in urban neighborhoods. Basically I went to elementary schools that I went to when I was a child, and in neighborhoods that I was familiar with. So, and those children really needed it because they really did not know how to manage their emotions, and there's just so much that goes into life where their parents don't have the capacity or the time to really work with them on a lot of things. So it was important work that the organization was doing. But so I already had experience working with kids and teaching in some capacity. When I made the decision, okay, I'm really going to do this, I'm going to go to China, I got online, did research, ended up finding a TESOL program that I could afford at the time, and there was a time commitment that I could actually do. Got that certification, because you, for the most part, need that if you're going to teach abroad, and especially in China. Also need your degree and everything. I got all of my documents authenticated. And I'm telling you, going to China, I knew it was something that I really wanted to do, because there was so much paperwork and so much money that I had to spend just like getting approved to get the visas, get the work permits, like get my documents sent all the way to China and approved. And it was a process. So it is a commitment. When you really want something, you are going to do the work. You're going to do the research. You're not going to depend on anybody to figure it out for you. You're going to do whatever it is that you have to do to make it work. And that's what I did. And I feel as though I've always had that type of spirit. When I want something, I'm going after it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my full energy, spirit, God with me behind it. Like, it's getting done, period, regardless. Like, I've always been that type of person. I set my mind to something, it's getting done. And there was really nothing nobody could tell me. I know at some points I'm telling my friends or telling random people, oh, I'm going to China. I'm moving to China. And people just like, China? Why are you moving to China? Like, that's literally was the reaction a lot of people had, because some people didn't understand. Some people's minds weren't as open as mine. I feel as though I've always had a very open mind when it came to meeting new people, when it came to going new places, when it came to going on adventures, when it came to learning new things. So that wasn't a problem or an issue for me, and I never really cared what anybody thought about any of the decisions that I make. Essence is going to do what Essence wants to do, period. That's always been what it is. So I made the decision. I got up on that flight and I left. And when y'all don't understand, I think my first layover was in Ontario, I believe. It was in Canada. I was like the only black person on that flight, other than this one flight attendant, and she spoke French. She was a black woman from Canada. She spoke French and English, and I thought that was just so beautiful. And I feel as though she made me feel so comfortable and seen, and supported on that flight. Like me being alone for the first time going to China. Because the first time I went, it was like a school program. So it was a big group of us from Spelman and Morehouse and this Texas HBCU who went together. So I wasn't alone. When I went that time in 2018, September, I was on my own. I never had any fear when it came to, moving abroad, when it came to going to teach abroad, when it came to study abroad. Like, I've always been like, oh yeah, we're doing this. I've always been very positive about it and had a very positive outlook on it. I've always been very courageous and like a person that's willing to take risks, no matter what it is. If I want something, I'm doing it. I'm going for it. I don't care what nobody say. Okay? Oh yeah. And one of the biggest parts of me making the choice to move to China, I knew that I wanted to travel. I knew that China wasn't the only place I wanted to go, and I knew that I could like explore and knowing that I could save money. That was a big reason why I chose to go to China. I knew that I would be able to save money because I knew that I wanted to travel. I knew that I wanted to go to Thailand. I didn't know where else I wanted to go. I didn't even know where else I wanted to travel in China. But different opportunities came, so I was able to go to different cities while I was living there. But Shanghai is so big, and I'm like, I don't know how many years it would take for me to actually explore all of Shanghai. Like, I loved every moment for the most part of living in China. I feel as though Shanghai was the most efficient city I have ever lived in. It was the most advanced technological city I had ever lived in. It was, when it came to getting groceries, when it came to getting around the city, when it came to even like places to go and things to do, like there is never a dull moment. There is never nothing not to do. Like, and I just love that there were so many things you could do, just like meetups and things like that. They were free. I feel as though back in Atlanta, you paying for everything, everywhere you want to go. Ain't nothing free, And that is like, put a damper on you actually want to do something sometime. But I feel as though there is a community, like in Shanghai, for everything, for anything that you want to do, whatever your interests are. Whether it's like photography, there were like photography walks and meetups, so you could go learn from new people. I did a lot of at that time. Like, really wasn't really like ever a gym person. Like, I joined a CrossFit gym while I was living in China, and I got into like some of like the best shape of my life. But there were communities for people who were into juicing, and there was like a black vegan community in Shanghai, and we would have meetups and we would go to restaurants and we'd have events, and I love that. Shout out to Shanice and Yamir. Okay, I know it's still going strong. What else did we do? I did a lot of group meditation sessions while I was there, and sound bowl healing, and those were things that I was really into. So I feel as though me moving there gave me the chance to to really sit with myself, to work through whatever mental and emotional blockages that I had, which at the time I really don't feel as though I had much, but you see along the way where you do, and then you just work through those little by little, peel back the layers. But I feel as though I was really able to sit with myself and just work through and explore what it is that I wanted, what it is that I desired, what felt good to me, and really think about what it is that I wanted long term. And that is what led me to saving up $10,000 my second year living there. And then 2020, March. This was a little bit after COVID hit. China had closed the borders for people. It was right before China closed the borders. This is everybody was on vacation. They went on holiday. And if you left, they were letting you come back in after your holiday. And there was a time period where they were going to close the border. So I just decided that I wanted to go to Thailand. 2020, COVID hit. I decided I was going to take the $10,000 I had saved and I'm moving to Thailand. I didn't go on holiday that year during Chinese New Year. But the year before I went to Thailand for the first time, I went to Phuket, and I knew, okay, that was my vibe. I knew I wanted to go back. And at the time, I'm just nobody knew anything about what was about to happen. My job was trying to tell us they didn't know when they were going to pay us, but they wanted us to keep working. So at that time, I was just oh, I'm leaving. Ain't no point in me just staying here. I'm not about to work for no money. And I had already had a good amount of money saved up, so I kind of already had a plan in my head. I'm just I'm about to be a travel vlogger. I'm about to travel all of Southeast Asia. Little did I know, in my little mind right then, because I was in my own little world, the whole world was about to shut down. I think after my first week of being in Thailand, because when we first got there, I was in Bangkok for a week. They sent an email basically saying that they were about to shut down the airports. So I literally, that day, because I had already booked out my place in Phuket, I had to book a flight that night to get to Phuket, or I was just going to lose the money that I spent on that Airbnb. And that's how I ended up staying in Thailand for 2 years. COVID shut the world down. And that experience, there was a lot for me that I experienced that first year in Thailand, because it was a lot of expectations I had set for myself and goals that I had, especially when it came to, oh, I'm going to become a travel blogger. I'm going to document this entire experience, and that just not happening the way that I had hoped and imagined for a plethora of reasons. And I had to make a decision on what I wanted that experience to be for me. And I knew a big part of, one, when you really think about it, a lot of people go out on an adventure. They're trying to become vloggers and trying to grow a brand online, but when you really do not understand the fundamentals, the systems behind what makes travel vlogs and vloggings or blogs and things successful, for me, I'm always a lifelong learner. I'm going to learn anything that I want and need. So I decided that I was going to teach myself digital marketing. And for me, that came about because I love to learn. I also wanted to think about how I was going to make money and not just be spending my money for that year or two that I was going to be living there. And while I was in China, before I had initially left, for those last few months, I was really thinking about how I could successfully continue to live in Asia, travel, and what were people doing? I had to start doing my research. The people who were traveling successfully and doing travel blogging, how were they making money? And so a lot of things in my research, people were doing affiliate marketing. People were, getting brand deals, but they are already built up brands. People were blogging. Of course, they were vlogging, making money from AdSense. Some people were selling products. And I started looking at, digital nomads. What are digital nomads doing? Because becoming a digital nomad was a big goal of mine. It was just at that time, I feel so, even still now, how some people do it, especially when you think about Bali and a lot of the content that's out, it's so sensationalized, what that lifestyle is. And there's so much more into it, I feel as though, that people really don't document or that they really don't talk about. And I feel as though that is the missing link, a missing piece of something that I want to bring some transparency to what it means to truly build a personal brand, what it means to be a digital nomad, what it means to build a business online, and show the messy middle, everything that goes in, not just the beginning and the end result, but everything that happens in the middle. I spent years, I'm telling you, years, But literally that first year I was living in Thailand, I spent a year teaching myself digital marketing. And at first I started out teaching myself social media marketing and social media management and how social media worked, because like my mom, she was living back home in Atlanta. She was launching her business like as a chef, and I saw that she had started making these menus, and I was just like, oh my god, this is my moment. Like, really just starting out, because like I taught myself graphic design back when I was in high school, so I'm just like, I could actually start putting those skills to work. When I started considering living a digital nomad lifestyle, I started thinking about what skills that I already have and what skills that I need to elevate. So I knew that I already knew how to build websites. I already knew graphic design. I needed to hone in on those skills, but I also wanted to take it a little bit further. I wanted to understand really what digital marketing was, like how people market and grow and develop, the different tactics and strategies businesses use to drive traffic to their websites, to drive traffic to get new customers or clients or their products, whatever it is. I needed to learn everything because I wanted to have a travel blog. I wanted to have a actual website and blog and sell digital products, but there was like a missing link of knowledge that I needed to learn. So I started doing a lot of research. I wasted money, on digital products to learn on some courses, and then I finally found free resources. And the best free resource I found during that time was Rich and Niche. And I ended up binge watching all of his content. I took so many notes. I learned everything that I really needed to know about digital marketing from Rich and Niche. When it came to the point where I'm just like, okay, I really want to start marketing myself as a freelance digital marketer and getting more clients outside of the referrals that I was getting and like the people that I had already knew who hit me up to do work for them. Like, I started building my portfolio, and I ended up investing in mentorship from Rich and Niche and the Rich and Niche Academy. And I feel as though honestly that was the best thing I could do. He really helped you to prepare to run your own one-person marketing agency, essentially, is how he calls it, to become a full-stack digital marketer. And I feel as though that was the biggest shift in my life, even to this day, because there are skills that really prepared me. One, because after I ended up, because at some point in time, I did leave Asia and I moved back to Atlanta, but I was able to transition from just freelancing to corporate digital marketing roles and corporate social media marketing roles over the course of those 3 years that I returned to Atlanta. And that helped me to continue to develop my style of editing, and then just how I run Facebook ads, how I do SEO, and web landing page design and development. I learned so much. There's so many different skills and aspects of digital marketing, and a lot of people just try to tote and flash digital products. That's digital marketing, when there's like so many tactics and things that you have to do to push a product. And I feel as though a big part of everything that it took me years, and still I'm on that journey, is learning is storytelling. Because like, you can put anything out, but it really can flop if you really don't understand how to run a launch campaign, if you really don't understand how to warm up a cold audience or nurture a warm audience or a warm lead. If none of that makes sense to you, like, you really need to sit and learn and take a step back and get outside of yourself and thinking that you, and talking about yourself and what it is that you do, or about your product or your service. You need to really think about what problem are you solving and who you are solving it for, and be very specific, be very intentional. Like, there are a lot of things I had to learn. I started doing it for everybody else. I'm saying, like, for 5 years straight, I was building brands for digital media companies, for plastic surgery brands and med spas, and some independent service-based entrepreneurs, some people who are launching courses, some people who are launching like retreats. I did it, and that really gave me the chance, and even nonprofits, to really explore the type of clients that I wanted to work with, the type of clients that I did not have any desire to work with, and the specific niches that are most in alignment with who I am and what it is that I want, and how to truly position myself. And also, I'm on this own journey of my own. I am on a journey myself to build my personal brand, and to really kind of disconnect in a little sense from working on other people's brands, or not as many people's brands, because I do still have clients, but I'm recentering my focus on my Exploring Essence brand, but also my content marketing services for small businesses and entrepreneurs looking to drive traffic to their offers and build a personal brand through storytelling. That is my main focus right now. And I'm really excited about this journey. I'm really excited that a big part of me going to college and getting into debt, taking out loans, majoring and getting my degree in sociology, it wasn't for nothing, because all of those skills that I learned and during that time when it comes to research, qualitative and quantitative research, understanding, like having to understand trends and understand habits, all of that is connected to marketing. And like, I did not realize at the time that I already had a strong, solid foundation for getting into marketing. Like, it all was interconnected. It all was for a reason. And then even the part when I think about when I was doing oral histories and doing research on companies and having to come up with these surveys, everything is all connected, because I do the same work now, working with my own clients and even with the businesses that I've worked for, in-house. So it's all been an adventure and a journey, and it all has been full circle. That's what I'll say. It has all been a full circle moment, and I'm very happy and proud of myself. I'm very blessed to be living this life and to have the opportunity to have traveled to Colombia, traveled to Mexico, lived in Thailand multiple times, lived in China, lived in Indonesia for this month that I've been here so far, and lived in Vietnam, and just to explore who I am as a woman, as a human, as a Black woman from Atlanta, who is a creative, who is an explorer, who is an adventurer, who is a strategist, who is a filmmaker. There are so many hats that I wear and so many parts of me that I don't feel as though I should hide, or that I don't feel as though I should limit, because people feel as though you should just focus on one thing. And for me, for how my brain works, like, I don't even understand. Like, I'm teaching myself how to become a mobile app and web app developer in my 30s. So like, there's so much that I'm continuously working on, and so many goals that I have. I feel as though anything that I want, need, and desire is available, like, to me. It is possible. So I'm going after everything that I want, need, and desire in this lifetime. And I'm trying to encourage everyone who is watching this video to go after freedom, to go after everything that you want, need, and desire. Do the things that light you up. Explore yourself. Go deeper, dive deep. Take a step back from anything that is hindering your progress or success, or that is holding you back, or making you feel less than, or making you feel as though you can't do something. Like, even if it's like your own limiting thoughts, your own fears, your own insecurities, you need to truly sit back, write them down, and work on and think about how you can work on growing out of those things, and work on your healing. Like, it's so easy to stay stuck and to stay doing the same thing for, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and to never change. It's so easy to eat the same foods that are causing you to gain weight, or like causing you to break out. It's so easy to not work out or to not go for a walk. It's easy to stay in the same routine day after day. When you get off work, you come, you sit in front of the TV, or you scroll for hours, and you not do anything to work towards a goal or to change your life. It is easy. It is easy not to change. So I'm challenging you to do something that is hard, do something that is difficult, do something that forces you to face yourself and to face your old habits, or face your current habits, face who it is that you face yourself. And I feel like that's one of the hardest things for a lot of people to do, is to face yourself and really sit and think about all of the decisions that you have made leading up to this moment, and how they have led you to be who you are right now. And if you don't feel challenged in your life, or if you don't feel like you want to change, if you don't feel as though that you want a different life, you don't feel as though you deserve a different life, if you don't feel like you want a different reality or a different experience, or want anything, you comfortable? If you're comfortable being uncomfortable, or comfortable being comfortable not changing, comfortable not elevating your income or your impact, comfortable not losing any weight each year, comfortable continuously getting drunk, or whatever it is that's like keeping you at a lower vibration, or that isn't allowing you to elevate to the next level in your life, then I'm going to continue to pray for you. I really truly hope want the best for you. I want you to find your own freedom. I want you to truly explore what it is that you want, need, and desire in this life. Like, I don't want anybody to stay stuck. I want us all to feel free, and to feel abundant, and to feel happy and joyful, and like we are living our purpose and our passions. But it takes you making a decision. It takes you making a decision to change your mind, to do something different, to get out of old habits, and to overcome limiting beliefs and self-imposed limitations, and blocking out the noise of the outside world, and like your family and your friends, or anything that is keeping you, mentally, because it is all mental. You have to get in control of your mind. getting in control of your mind, getting in control of your eating, getting in control of what you take in every day, what you see every day. You have to control that. You have to make a decision like, no. You got to start setting boundaries around like what you're not going to allow in your life, what you're not going to allow from yourself, what you're not going to allow from other people. You are in control. You are in control, and you need to take control of your life. And that is what I'm challenging you to do today, is to take control of your life. Okay. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you. I thank you for watching. I pray that you just go ahead, like, subscribe, share this video if it was motivating, if you feel as though it uplifted you, if you feel as though this is a message that can encourage or motivate or inspire somebody else on their journey, please share it.